You are in the CNN newsroom. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Dean here in New York. We do have breaking news in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Just moments ago, Savannah and her siblings posted a new video. Here's what it says.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Now, today marks day 7 of the search. Still no named suspects. Authorities say they believe Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home near Tucson last weekend after blood belonging to her was discovered on the porch and a front door camera was missing. Officials are also looking into the authenticity of a new note sent to a local news station. Let's bring in CNN's Ed Lavandera and Josh Campbell. We're going to start first with Ed. Ed, you've been covering this story. Bring us up to date with where everything stands as of right now.
Well, I think it's important to kind of walk through the timeline leading up to this video that we've received here within the last hour. So you remember, according to FBI investigators, there was a 5 p.m. deadline that was mentioned in one of the initial notes received by multiple news outlets, 2 of them here in Tucson and the other one being the celebrity website TMZ. There was a 5 p.m. deadline mentioned, and there was also a Monday deadline mentioned. At 5 p.m. on Thursday, that is when the Guthrie family released their second video. That was Cameron Guthrie, Savannah's brother, trying to reach out and establish contact with the author of these alleged ransom letters as well. And then we know that there was a second message that was received by the CNN affiliate KOLD Friday morning around 11:30. So this is newest video from the Guthrie siblings is coming more than 24 hours after we know that follow-up message was sent. And up until this point, investigators, both federal and local officials here, have been saying that we do not know yet if these demands and these notes are in fact authentic, if they're legitimate in any way. But it is clear that this perhaps changes the dynamic in that situation. Both investigators and clearly the Guthrie family have been taking these messages seriously, and that is why we've heard from FBI investigators, and we know that the Guthrie family is working with hostage negotiating teams with the FBI in crafting these messages and putting these videos out there. I should also point out in my conversation that I had with the sheriff here in Pima County just a few days ago, he told me that he was not aware that Savannah Guthrie and her siblings were recording the first video message that was put out earlier this week. He learned about it after it had been published and put up on Instagram. So clearly, this is an avenue of this investigation that federal authorities are the ones handling exclusively.
And Ed, I believe you're there nearby where Nancy Guthrie's home is. What has the activity been like around where you are? What have you been seeing?
Well, this afternoon and the last few days, when law enforcement has shown up here in the neighborhood to search and recanvass not only Nancy Guthrie's property but the surrounding areas as well, it has happened in the late afternoon and last night extended well into the evening as well. We have not seen that level of activity around here today, although local investigators did say that they continue canvassing various areas in the city, looking for videos, looking for any kind of clues that might point out and lead them to where Nancy Guthrie might be. But I think right now the intense focus of this investigation is clearly on this communication that is happening back and forth between the Guthrie family and whoever is sending these messages.
All right, Ed Lavandera there for us in Arizona. Thank you for that reporting. Let's bring in CNN senior correspondent and former FBI agent who worked kidnapping cases for the FBI, Josh Campbell. Okay, Josh, we have this latest video coming out just in the last hour. This is new. What does this tell you about where this investigation is going and where things stand?
Well, big picture to start, we know this is a video that the Guthrie family is releasing publicly on social media and hoping that that will be amplified, picked up by the media. That certainly suggests that there is not a direct line of communication between whoever abducted Nancy Guthrie and the Guthrie family. I've worked kidnapping cases where if there is an actual line of communication that is set up, that is treated sensitively, that is protected, that is not something that either the family nor the FBI crisis negotiators, for that matter, would actually be publicizing. And so the fact that we see this appeal again via social media tells us that they're essentially responding to the alleged abductor here via the medium that they have chosen, and that is sending information out via the press. There are a couple things in that video that I think are key for us to focus on. The first, that you actually hear Savannah Guthrie there, and again, this is heart-wrenching. I don't want to be too clinical about this, but they are essentially saying that, look, we understand the demand that you have made. They're appealing to the person who may have taken Nancy Guthrie, and then saying that, look, we will pay. And there is always a question. If there is a demand for a ransom, I've been involved in these gut-wrenching decisions with family members where they're asking, members of the FBI, should we pay money? What should we do? At the end of the day, that is a decision for the family. We don't know what the exact amount is that they're discussing here, nor, what type of mechanism there will be to actually submit funds. There was reporting earlier that one of the initial demands was actually for a payment via cryptocurrency. But this is an important step here because, again, you have the family now, Savannah Guthrie, saying that, look, we will pay. We know that based on one of the earlier videos that was received by TMZ, there was a report of a Monday deadline that was perhaps more sinister in nature. And so the goal for both the family, for law enforcement, as well as the abductor, is to slow this down now. Look, there might be a Monday deadline. Deadlines can change. Deadlines can shift. In a negotiation like this with a kidnapping, both parties have to have something the other wants. Obviously, in this case, if this turns out to be a verifiable, kidnapping, the person who is in the custody of Nancy Guthrie has that leverage. But the family has something that person might want, and that is money. And so, again, the point that is so important from this video that Savannah just released is saying, look, we understand what you're saying. We want her back safely. We will pay. Of course, now we're waiting to see what happens next, what form of communication comes. And that's something that we will all be certainly watching, but certainly a critical development in this case.
And Josh, one big question for everybody has been the proof of life. How is Nancy Guthrie? What is her status? And certainly no one more than those three siblings right there who desperately want to know how their mother is. That was the thing they asked for in their original video, that they needed proof of life, and acknowledge that we live in a world where that can be manufactured quite easily with AI. Again, we don't know what they got back, what information they may have received. But what does it tell you that that was what they were demanding, and now we have this video?
Well, that is so important. And, our colleagues, our affiliate there in Arizona, KOLD, they have been very circumspect. They are the ones who received the latest message from the purported kidnappers here. We don't know what that contained. We don't know if that included a so-called proof of life. Again, they're trying to, protect that information because they, want to protect the integrity of this investigation and ensure that there's the best possible outcome here. And so, again, as we've stated from the beginning of this case, there are a lot of things we simply do not know in that category. That includes whether there has been an actual proof of life in the last day or so. That is something investigators always want to have, family members want to have. This is a calculus that the family will have to make. If there is a demand for some type of ransom and they decide to actually make that payment, what are they basing that information on? Do they have, a good faith belief that Nancy is, still alive and still in the custody of the people that are purporting to take her? But again, this is one of the most difficult circumstances anyone could ever be in, to have to make that determination. At the end of the day, the FBI says it's up to the family. Again, we're waiting to see what happens next. Finally, Jessica, I'll tell you that I don't expect that if there does end up being some type of actual two-way communication between the family and the abductors after the release of this video just moments ago, that we will get real-time updates on that. That is something that authorities will certainly want to protect. Of course, all of our hearts go out to the Guthrie family and hope for the safe return.
Oh, I know, we certainly do. We hope that Nancy Guthrie is safely home very, very soon with her family where she belongs. Josh Campbell, thank you so much for that. And joining us now is criminologist and behavioral analyst Casey Jordan. Casey, thank you for being here with us. From your perspective, again, coming at this as a criminologist and behavioral analyst, I want to just get first your reaction to this new video that we're getting tonight. The language that Savannah is using there, obviously they are in unimaginable pain as they're trying to get their mother home.
Yeah, some curious choice of language and maybe a little bit coded. Here's my first reaction as a criminologist is that there is no honor among thieves and criminals and kidnappers. And I think that there is a certain amount of tenuous desperation and trust when she says, we will pay. I'm not at all convinced that they do have proof of life, but perhaps they got enough detail in the latest communication that arrived yesterday for her to, if you will, gamble on the idea that her mother is still alive, even if she doesn't have it. Perhaps they had micro-specific details, things that only Nancy could know, that they communicated there, which at least convinced Savannah and her family that whoever sent that email does have Nancy within their control. And whether they could provide proof of life in an email, kind of, incredulous about that. But at this point, yes, we see the desperation, the exhaustion of this family. And when she says they will pay, they are going to, I'm sure, transfer some agreed upon sum of money into a Bitcoin account. But I do think, I agree with Josh, from here on out, we probably will never know the details. I also want to point out that we may not get Nancy back, even if the money is paid. We certainly are hoping and praying that's the outcome. But at this point, I think we all have a heightened sense of, do we trust this? Are these hoaxsters? Or is this really going to bring Nancy home? And I think there's not a family in the world out there that wouldn't take the risk and send the money if it meant getting their mother back.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you think, just in some of the language that she was using there, that some of it may be very specific language or choices of words.
Yeah, just mostly the word celebrate really rang for me. At the same time, she didn't thank them for giving them proof of life or for, everything was very tenuous. I really saw some vacillation going on. We want our mother home to celebrate her. It's a morose thought, but they could be negotiating for Nancy's return in any condition at this point. And the bottom line is that there didn't seem to be a lot of hopefulness about it. The idea that they will celebrate is really what we're focusing on right now, that some kind of communication came through that convinced this family that Nancy is still alive or within their care and that they have a chance of getting her back. No matter what condition they get her back, they want her back.
And so, as you note, and as you said, Josh noted too, from here on out, it's just so rare that we see anything, first of all, that we would see anything like this, period. But to see anything like this play out so publicly is even, it's more mind-boggling that this is really happening. But that you don't expect that we're going to get a lot of public information as this moves forward. This may move into a more private situation.
Yes, and I think that's exactly where it should go. You are right. This is highly unusual. And even though my experience with kidnappings is almost always sexual in nature, sexual captors and captives, the bottom line is that as a kidnapping for ransom, this is not typical. Not just of course, it's high profile and they've gone after somebody with money, but why Savannah? There are infinitely more wealthy people than Savannah with vulnerable family members. And this seems to be very unique to the Tucson area, perhaps very unique to the Guthrie family. But the bottom line is communicating through the news agencies, really, we don't see that. Generally, they want to communicate directly with the family, keep it as low key as possible, get in, get out, get their captor. Immediately, not 3 days later, present the demand for ransom. And none of that has been textbook with this particular case. All I can tell you is that apart from wanting Nancy back, I think the public wants to see these people captured. And I'm sure that the police and the FBI are working tirelessly on that angle as well.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Casey Jordan, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Good to be here.
We're going to have much more of our breaking news this hour. Stay with CNN. We're going to take a break.
Disaster. The Chernobyl meltdown. March 1st on CNN and next day on the CNN app.
Well, look at you powering through. You're not slowing down. You're raising eyebrows. Oh, and speed limits, you're way past those. Because you're playing for keeps. In other words, you're in your prime. So keep it that way with Ensure. 30 grams of protein to support your muscles and your mindset. Ensure yourself.
COPD is hard, but Nucala can mean less flare-ups. Nucala is a once-monthly add-on injection for uncontrolled COPD with a specific marker of inflammation. Nucala is not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away for swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop other medicines, including steroids, unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. May cause back pain, diarrhea, and cough. Ask about Nucala.
The itch and rash of moderate to severe eczema disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it's still not under control. Now I have Rinvoq, a once-daily pill that reduces the itch and helps clear the rash of eczema fast. Some felt significant itch relief as early as 2 days, and some achieved dramatic skin clearance as early as 2 weeks. Many saw clear or almost clear skin.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. See a head-to-head study of Rinvoq versus another treatment at rinvoq.com/see the data. Talk to your dermatologist if you're not doing well on your current pill or injection to see if Rinvoq is right for you.
Thought they were out of style, huh? Well, check their new game day fit. Oh, snap! DirecTV got hot.
That's right. DirecTV is flexing with all those pro and college games at your fingertips. This ain't your dad's cable, son. It's couture.
Thank you. I got this. Catching your favorite teams is easy. Whether it's on live TV or streaming, your games are front and center.
We're talking Taylor fit. DirecTV ain't playing.
They're playing football.
Well, yeah, obviously they're playing football, but they knew what I was talking about.
DirecTV now includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited.
Buying a car is kind of a big deal. How do you know if it's the right car for you? Ooh, with the most deal ratings and complete vehicle history from Car Gurus. That's how. Boom.
I wrap myself in athletic tape to keep from snacking.
You should try Wonderful Pistachios. They're tasty and healthy.
Pistachios, huh? Delicious. High five.
See you out there.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Sleep Number does that.
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Sleep Number does that. Your ideal firmness and effortless comfort all night.
Can it help us sleep better and better?
Please.
Sleep Number does that.
And now our best deals are on, including 50% off our limited edition mattress, plus 0% interest for 24 months. Check it out at sleepnumber.com or at a Sleep Number store near you.
Disaster. The Chernobyl meltdown. March 1st on CNN and next day on the CNN app.
Tonight, President Trump shows no sign of backing down from his refusal to apologize for that racist video that appeared on his social media site depicting the Obamas as apes. That video was online for almost 12 hours before it was taken down. The president saying he only watched the first part of it and was not showed the part that showed the Obamas. The White House blamed a staffer for including the offensive material. CNN correspondent Julia Benbrook is joining us now. Julia, that video is about 1 minute long, so not that much to review there. What more from the White House have we heard on this?
Yeah, Jessica, President Donald Trump, he spoke about this on Air Force One as he traveled here to Florida, where he is spending the weekend now. And he was pressed about whether or not he should make an apology, take responsibility for this. He made it very clear that he does not believe that he specifically made a mistake in this situation. He said that he started to watch the video. As you mentioned, it is not very long, but he said that he did not watch it all the way through and did not see that racist image that is included in the post. Now, he also said that his staff took it down as soon as they knew that it was included, but it was up for 12 hours. There were 12 full hours from when it was posted to when it was taken down. And during that time, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt put out a statement that was dismissive of concerns about this post, calling it fake outrage in response to it. But that outrage was very clearly real and coming from both sides of the aisle, including from some of those that are Trump's closest and most loyal allies, like Senator Tim Scott. He took to social media. He said that he was praying that this post was a mistake, that it was the most racist thing he had seen out of this White House, and that he wanted to see it taken down. We do know that Scott spoke with the president before that post was deleted. Now, the White House says that a staffer made the error and posted it. As I spoke to a bit earlier, Trump says this wasn't his mistake, but I want you to hear that full exchange. Take a listen.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I am, by the way, the least racist president you've had in a long time, as far as I'm concerned.
Now, sources who spoke with our team say that Trump does often make these posts personally himself, especially late at night or early in the morning. But there are some others who do have access to those accounts. Again, the White House has said that a staffer was responsible for this error. When Trump was pressed on if that staffer would be fired, he declined to say.
All right, Julia Binbrook there in Palm Beach, Florida, where the president is over the weekend. Thank you so much for that. Still to come here, the U.S. stock market seeing record numbers even as Americans are losing their jobs at the highest rate since 2009. Economist Justin Wolfers joins us next to explain the deep divide between Wall Street